Reinnard Balonzo. I'm the senior editor of the Bicol University, the CEO and founder of 𝗪𝗓.ph. I'm also a researcher at the National Commission on Culture and Arts. I am under the National Secretariat of the College Editors Guild of the Philippines under Publication Research of the National Office, and then the ad hoc chairperson of CEGP Albay chapter. As for me, as someone who had worked as a campus journalist for over 12 years, I don't believe that there is such a thing as fake news. I believe that there is fake information, but those fake information cannot be considered as fake news. Because if it is a fake, it cannot be considered a news in the first place. So I believe fake news is somehow a misinterpreted term. It must be labeled as misinformation or fake information rather than being referred to as fake news. But for this discussion's sake, let me clarify that those that are referred by other people as fake news are information that are, you know, not accurate and may be damaging to the truth in a certain extent. It may be classified into two branches: the wittingly and unwittingly fake information. It is in it may be caused by lack of responsibility by those information shared, or it may also be used as a tool by others to campaign in campaigns and other propagandas. And in fact, I consider fake information as propaganda rather than a mere mistake by other people. Nagkakaroon ng fake news, it may because of maybe two reasons. For unwittingly fake news, maybe there are instances that we actually take it for granted to verify such information, or at least we missed something very important. That is why the information that we shared are not contextually accurate. But for those that are wittingly committing fake news, I think because they do it because they use news propaganda to actually manipulate people, maybe to gain money, support, or you know, power. In fact, because it is really rampant in the political scene here in the Philippines. Can determine if a news is do have fake information if, of course, it is meant to confuse people and it is serving other lords other than the truth. If it is not accurate that much, it must be reviewed. The sources must be verified, and it must be fact checked. We have strategic and systematic ways on how to actually verify things, and if those news or information have not passed the standard of those verification tests, therefore it can be considered a fake news or at least a misinformation bit. Kumakalat ng fake news because let me first contextualize this. I believe that we have a multidimensional truth phenomenon. When I say multidimensional truth phenomenon, it means that because of too many sources, we have owned information as if they were true. And sometimes fake information exists or fake news exists because we are very vulnerable people, very vulnerable creatures who actually want to believe things that are aligned with our expectation and wants in life. It exists because there are liars and there are people who actually patronize lies. If we are to be more keen on verifying information and steadfastly holding on and vigilantly fighting for truth, it will cease. I recognize that this problem is plaguing the world for quite centuries now, and the very the very first thing that we must do is to actually check on ourselves if we are patronizing or at least contributing to the scheme of fake information or fake news. Spreads the fake news. Propagandists, which may include us. When I say propagandists, these are people who are aware of truth or of accurate information, but tend to, weaponize fake news or fake information. They tend to publish articles that are contextually inaccurate for their own benefits. And why does it or why do it may include us? Because sometimes we are the ones who actually share misinformation bits in our social media. If we don't verify those facts, we commodify information and then publish it, share it with our media platform, share it to the public as if it is true. So before barking on other people and giving assertions that they are the ones who actually proliferate or share fake information or fake news, at least do a self-flagellation or self assessment first, because I think those who actually spread fake news includes us, and that calls for our accountability to actually correct this mistake. News is a malady of society. Uh, we have this system right now because we had patronized fake news. I think fake news damages not just the reputation of journalists, but actually, jeopardize the future of our community. Because of fake news, a lot of, what could have been had been wasted. And even in the governance, even in all of the fields, like, it plagues our system, and then hurdles us to discovering or to more development, sustainable development. Because with fake news, people. Remember, in 2020, people were actually hesitant to have vaccines. That was a contributing factor to the high rise of COVID-19 cases. So without fake news, people could have been, more encouraged to actually be part of that advocacy, or of at least that campaign and minimizing the COVID-19 cases. So it hurts us. It prevents us from acquiring truth, and prevents us to, sustainable community development. Journalist. I believe that a journalist must be, first and foremost, be very responsible of all of the things that they publish and say to the public. Let us, to our dear journalists, let us start first with ourselves. And of course, I think we must invest more on our technical skills on researching, investigating, and finding reliable sources. We must, of course, employ all ethical considerations in doing our reports, our articles, and be the defender of the truth that the society needs, especially in this time of weaponization of misinformation and an era of historical distortion. Thank you. Ate, nanggagawa kami sa loto.
Ha? Kaya mo po. Send mo na barataan niya.
Hindi po, anti-kapuntan, fake news. So, ngayon po, naniniwala po ba kayo sa mga balitang lumalabas sa TV, sa radyo, or sa Facebook po?
Depende po sa pagkakabalita nila. Minsan kasi mapapaniwala ka talaga. Pero minsan naman pag sa hindi naman ako basta-basta naniniwala eh.
Ano po yung mga latest po balita na sa tingin niyo po, totoo po, na nabasa niyo or napakinggan niyo?
Ngayon, ang nakikita kong yun na latest na balita, yung bagyo raw na paparating, yun yung pinaka-latest na nabalita ko ngayon.
Ate, na biktima na po ba kayo ng fake news?
Oo din, sa Facebook.
Pwede niyo po sa amin i-share kung ano po yung nangyari sa Facebook na yung fake news po na affected po kayo?
Yung katulad yung sa artista, kunyari, na medyo iniidolo ko naman, tapos na pina-fake news na patay na daw, pero hindi naman, gano'n. Doon ako nabigla, pero hindi naman pala siya patay.
Dito po sa market, paano po nakaka-affect sa inyo yung mga fake news? Like, kung halimbawa po may fake news about sa presyo po ng tinitinda nyo, sa ibang movie.
Nakaka-apekto to kasi yung iba, sinasabi nila na mura daw doon pero hindi naman pala. Kaya naapektuhan kami kasi binabagsak din namin yung presyo para makahabol kami doon sa sinasabi nila na mababa daw yung presyo pero hindi. Pero yun yung fake news.
Instance po ba na dahil sa fake news para naapektuhan din po yung benta nyo?
Oo. Minsan.
So, kung ganito po yung epekto po sa atin ng fake news, ano po sa tingin nyo yung mga paraan, paano po natin malalabanan yung fake news?
Dapat hindi basta-basta naniniwala sa mga napapanood sa TV, sa Facebook, mga social media. Dapat nagre-research tayo para hindi tayo na basta-basta na papaniwala ng mga fake news.
After niyo po mag-research ate, sino po sa mga media personnel ngayon ang pinagkakatiwalaan niyo kung meron pa po?
Ngayon, konti na lang yung ano ba yan? Yung sa TV Patrol, yung Noli de Castro, Karen Davila, yun, doon ako naniniwala sa kanila.
Ano po ang parang sa tingin niyo po, pwede po ninyong gawin para po malabanan yung fake news?
Yun na nga, yung dapat, hindi tayo basta-basta naniniwala sa, kunyari, nag-Facebook tayo, maraming fake news yun, di ba? Dapat, hindi tayo dun basta-basta naniniwala. Dapat, kailangan natin ano din ng mga ibang information kung totoo yun. Kaya, dapat magre-research din tayo.
Dito po sa market, pag nakaka-encounter po kayo ng fake news, paano niyo po sila inaano? Parang correct po or tinatama po yung fake news?
Sinasabihan ko sila na bago sila magpakalat ng ganung na fake news, siguraduhin nila na tama yung pinapakalat nilang news. Kaya, ano ko na bago sila magsalita ng ganun, dapat sigurado sila sa sinasabi nila.
Po, ma'am, nanggana daw po kamo sa loto?
Dahil ako pa naniwala. Kaya nyo sa nasabulan pa ako.
Sige po. Ngunyan po, relative po duman sa fake news, nagtutubod pa po kamo sa mga bareta na nadadangog po nindo, nababasa po nindo sa radyo, o nahiling po nindo sa TV?
Nagtubod ako. So nailing ko sa TV. Sa mismo ba kami nagka-report pa sa mga legitimate na mga news reporter, sa mga nag-report, pati sa radyo, sa mga legitimate na.
Kamusta man po ang mga borbareta digdi sa sa market po?
Okay mo.
Kamu po, nabiktima na po ba kayo ng fake news?
Oo. Pero so may nag-send bagang kaya nanggana ka kip 500,000.
Digdi po sa market, naka-encounter na po ba kayo na may paluwas po na fake news? Wala pa man po.
So ano lang, so sa text baga.
Sa hiling po nindo, paano ta po malalabanan ang fake news?
Ang malalabanan ang fake news, siguro dahil para magtubod lang sa so mga legal na sa mga legitimate na mga mga news, duman lang kita depende.
Sige. Ngunyan po sa mga nagbabareta po sa lokal na radyo, sa national TV po, sisay po ang pinagkakatiwalaan nindo po na journalist?
Sa radyo, pero kaya akong bako sa nagsilang ko ng pumati sa DCGB. Pwede mag-mention
Opo, pwede lang po.
Henry Maseda.
Pwede tagibuhon bilang part po kang society para po malabanan man ta ang fake news.
Pero para sa kuya, dahil i-ignore yan ang mga fake news yan. Dahil tubudan talang sa mga talagang so nagtatao kibarita talagang sa mga legitimate na mga nagtatao kibarita pa yan. Naman na lang kita ma-depende. Kaya na kita magpara magtubod sa mga sa news apunta ka sa mga
Social media po.
social media.
It's not true. Hindi yan totoo. Fake news yan. Kasi hindi naman ako tumataya sa loto.
Niniwala po ba kayo sa mga balita po na lumalabas po ngayon?
Regarding sa ano po?
Sa kahit ano pong balita?
Hindi.
Ano po yung nakalasing pong balita po na narinig or nalaman?
Yun nga, maraming nagte-text na nanalo ako ng ganitong amount, na malalaking amount, then may mga link na pinapasa sa akin. Pero never kong kiniklik yung mga link na yun kasi naniniwala ako na ang dami ngayon na nabibiktima ng scam.
Sa mga balita po sa radyo, or sa TV po, or sa Facebook, ano po yung pinaka-last na nakarapan po?
So far kasi hindi naman ako pala FB, pala TV, pala radyo. Busy po kasi ako sa business ko.
Dito po sa ano, dito po sa market, sa tingin niyo ba merong fake news?
Wala naman kaming nababalitaan ditong fake news about dito sa market.
Pero what about yung mga ano, yung mga customer na akala nila ng presyo ng bigas po?
Yun ang laging kinukulit sa amin ng mga customer namin. Every time na hinahanapan na kami ng 20 pesos per kilogram na pinangako ng ating presidente.
So, kayo po, nabiktima na po kayo ng fake news?
So far, hindi pa naman.
Dito po sa market, paano yung nilabanan ng fake news?
Nilalabanan ko through sa mindset na hindi ka basta-basta maniniwala.
Sa mga nagbabalita po sa radyo, sa dyaryo, may itutubulan pa po ako kung iba pa po.
Oo naman. Lalo na yung mga legit talagang mga ano, mga like yung mga radio station, yung dyaryo.
Sa tingin niyo po, paano po natin malalabanan yung fake news?
Kasi malalaman mo rin yun kung minsan sa ano sa instinct din natin yun eh.
How do you deal with fake news? You know, as a communication student or communication major, you know, pinag-aaralan namin yung iba't ibang theories, and because of our field na nakikipag-deal with interpersonal relationships, and of course media, malawak ang scope namin sa media, you know, prone ang field namin to experience fake news, especially if we're working in media, ganyan. So in approaching fake news, siguro one of the things that we do is to really put into consideration on the sources that we use or the sources that we utilize in our courses, but and not only in our courses, in our personal endeavors. Like whenever we're just scrolling on social media, you know, we always take into consideration how we will apply what we have learned in media and information literacy. You know, I have one blockmate, na-scam siya. You know, it was actually na-hack yung account niya because madali siyang na-persuade ng person na yun dahil hindi niya chinek if credible ba yung person na kinausap niya. So one thing that we really have to consider is credibility. So, again, as a communication expert, what do you think are the effects of fake news in our current information? Ayun, gaya nga ng na-experience ng iba, prone siya sa scamming. And hindi lang siya limited sa scamming. Kasi the more that we believe on fake news, yung information na pumapasok sa atin, pwede natin, or meron possibility na ma-share din natin siya sa ibang tao. And pwede tayo maging fake news peddler, and that's really dangerous. As a communication researcher, what are your proposed interventions so that we can allocate problems with regard to fake news? One of the things that we can do is to really check our sources by taking into consideration yung guidelines on how we can fact check this information. So, on other platforms, meron silang fact checking or like fact checkers. No, hindi lang tayo basta-basta kumukuha ng information or hindi lang tayo basta-basta naniniwala sa nakikita natin mga posts or even articles because sometimes misinformation I mean, sometimes kahit reliable yung source niya because of their name, sometimes misinformation can still happen. Hi everyone, I'm Reinnard Balonzo. I'm a campus journalist for over 12 years. I am the current senior editor of the Bicol University and the ad hoc chairperson of College Editors Guild of the Philippines Albay chapter. What I can recommend to actually elevate the problem with regard to fake news is first, understand what is fake news. For me, I don't believe in fake news because any fake information cannot be news. I treat that as a propaganda, therefore it can never be a news. And then, when we encounter fake information, the very first thing that we do is to employ our media information technology literacy, which is first and foremost, of course, um, check the sources, verify the information that you're given, and then correct it if you have the avenue to do so. We, the very first thing that we must do is to actually filter the information that we share online, and then be careful of your digital footprint. If we share this kind of information to the public, therefore, we are using our own credibility to proliferate this fake information. And then another thing to do is that I I suggest to the government that to actually invest more in education, particularly in media, information, and technology literacy. We have to actually improve the curriculum from the primary grade to tertiary level, because in the latest surveys or studies, it had been apparent that Filipinos actually have a very low rate of media information and technology literacy. If we improve this by actually going down into its very roots, therefore we can have a better or a more capable citizens of battling fake news. And another thing is, the very last thing that we should do is to actually cleanse our information pool. Our information pool as of date is actually very, very polluted with a lot of propaganda such as that may be political, economical, or just any aspects in our social sphere. The very first thing to do about in cleaning our information pool is to actually debunk those lies, change the change those that can be modified, and trace everything down. If there are campaigns that proliferate rice, then correct it online. And we can do it by encouraging people to participate in this campaign. And in that campaign, we can share more truthful information online and you know reinvent everything or relearn everything that we know. That is, I think, is my recommendation and mechanism on how to battle fake news.